Hello, and this is going to be just a quick video tutorial for those with a Steam Deck who want to get DRM Free Games working on their Steam Deck. It's really simple, and I hope this guide helps you. As you can see here, I've added a few already of some of my favourites that I've got on Amazon Games. Now, anyone who doesn't know, if you've got Amazon Prime, Amazon Games gives you a whole bunch of free DRM free games monthly, which you can download. You can install them on your computer. They're yours to own. Now, these are Windows based, but you can get them working on the Steam Deck really easily. So what we're going to do now is I'll show you how to do that process. So first of all, you don't need to be on the Steam Deck to start with. Your first process is obviously download the game you want. So we'll go into Amazon Prime Games. We'll go into all the games we've got, and we'll just pick something that's quite quick to download. So let's go Great Gianna Sisters. So we download that. We've got our install location wherever that is on your system. Get that downloaded. Now, while it's downloaded, just a couple of bits of housekeeping. There's two things ideally you want on the Steam Deck and your PC to be able to do all this easier. So we're going to let this download. So the first thing you need ideally is a program called WinSCP, which will allow you to basically FTP into your Steam Deck and drag and drop files without having to use something like Wimpinator or Warpinator or something like that. Now, what it actually is useful for is with Warpinator, you have to select a dedicated download folder, and then you have to move it all across, and then you've got a copy, etc. It just adds a bunch of time, really. So, but what this does is it allows you just to drag and drop from whatever folder to whatever folder from one computer to your Steam Deck. Now, what you really want here is, let's go to the right program. I'll put links to these in the description. But basically, on your Steam Deck, it'll give you all the instructions, but there's two bits of code you have to basically put in, which is really easy. So you need to, on your Steam Deck, let's just minimize this. You basically want to bring up your console. Now, I've got mine on my desktop. If it's not, it will just be in your start menu, all applications, and then K for console, not C. If you struggle to find it, is a K, and it's there. You load it up. And then basically you've got a command experience that you're probably used to on Windows if you've used it. And all you need to do is, if I should show you, first thing you need to do is set a password. Now I just use a PIN number because it's easy for me to remember. So you go in, you set your password, and it'll tell you what you need to do. Once you've set the password, it's these next bits that are important, which is basically telling your Steam Deck to communicate with your PC. So what you do is you go back to the console and you type in this code exactly as it is. And then you hit enter, type in this code exactly as it is. And then that's what you've got there. And then what you need to do is basically download WinSCP onto your Windows computer, and then follow the install instructions. And then let's see if I can show you without breaking things. If we go to, but basically, I'll tell you what, I'll disconnect and I'll reboot this because it's simple enough. So if I go into here, I've got WinCP. After the install, and what you'll see pop up is the screen here. You have to bear with me, I have vision issues, so it might take me a second to navigate. But essentially, you've got your Steam Deck. You choose your file protocol is SCP. This all pops up automatically, but you change your file protocol to SCP. You put in your host name, which you can find on the Steam Deck. There are instructions out there how to find it. Port 22 is important. What the username is, and if you haven't changed anything, it's deck. And then in here, you type in your password. I said I use a PIN number, just it's easier for me to remember. And then once you're done, you click log in. And if you want, you can give if you've got many like I have, so I can go into my 3DS, I can go into various websites I help with, etc., etc. Even my RG351. But basically, you can give it a name if you need to, and then you click login, and in you go. You might get a warning or two, but in you go. Now, another important tool, which I think is really useful, is AnyDesk. You can install AnyDesk from the Discover store on your Steam Deck. If we just search for that, you'll see I've got it installed, but oops, no, where have I not found that? It is on the store. No, I remember you have to get it from somewhere else, I think. Oh, I got this one, yeah. AnyDesk, sorry, I put AnyDeck. Search for AnyDesk, and then you just install that. And there's a few setup bits, but it'll guide you through those. If you've ever installed anything anywhere, it does that for you. You do the same, you download it on Windows, and then you get a connection come through. Let's see if I can show it. See, this shows it's accepted on this one. See, but yeah, you get a window like this. This tells you what you're FTPing into. You basically create a connection, in you go, and then you get a shared desktop. What you need to do is make sure you do this on the Windows side and connect to the Steam Deck, because if you do it the other way, you'll see your Windows desktop on your Steam Deck, which you don't want. So let's just minimize that and minimize that. Now, all that should be done. And you should be happy. You've now basically got access into your console on here, onto your Steam Deck via your Windows PC. If you haven't, leave a comment, and I'll do a more clear video of setting all this up. I'll take the risk and try and set it all up from fresh again. But during that time, you should now have that your game has downloaded, and then this is where it gets simple. You basically bring up your WinSCP. You go to your install location. So for me, it's on main Amazon Games. Oops. Giada Sisters Twisted Dreams is there. Now, what you need to just do is you need to navigate on this to whether you want your these to basically be installed. So if I take you back to where I would do this, so you may well get presented with the root, and the way you get to your external memory card, which is always the best way to put these, by the way, is you go to run, and then you find media. That's going to be all your external media. If you had hard drives plugged in, that'd show here as well. This MMC BLK0P1 is generally the name of any SD card you put in there. So you double click into that, and now you're into the root of the micro SD card. What I've done, because you'll see other stuff, if you put EmuDeck on there or anything like that, you'll have an emulation folder. I've got links to my Heroic launcher. Lost and Found, just don't touch that. Steam apps, don't need to touch that. Basically, I created a new folder, which you can right click, as you can on a PC, new directory, and then create a folder. I created one called DRM Free. You click into that, and then you'll see almost a complete copy of what's on this side. I think I've deleted a couple because I've done it, but I decided to keep them just as backup. These some of the other ones. And then what you do is you take the game you want to bring, drag that across, and then after a few moments, it's going to start to download. Now, you can just leave that doing its bit for a short while, and then this is another tip of what you can do. You want to go to steamgrid.db, and then you want to type in for the name of the game. I think it's Twisted Dreams have we got. I've actually choose a game that's not on there. But the original, not a modern one. So watch. This is me, ADHD videos. I didn't do any prep. So we'll find something maybe a bit more recent that's going to be maybe a bit easier. Let's have a look and see what we can find first. So let's go. See, bang racing is in there. There we go. That looks like that'll do. What does that give? We'll go icon. There we go. So back to Amazon Games. So it helps to redo this. Find the game you want, install to where you want it to install, and it'll take, depending on the size, a few seconds. So again, we'll let that do its thing. It's doing its thing there. And we'll say bang bang racing. Now, steamgrid.db, you found your game. And what you want to do is you want to download the poster art, the grid art, the hero, the logo, and the icon. And this will all become clear as to why. So we'll click that to download, and it opens in a new window. Right click, save image as, and then I'm just going to pop this on the desktop. And then always a good idea is to rename them so you know what you're doing. So BBR poster, and I'll save that as a JPEG. And then we'll do grid. So we do that one. Not gonna. Oh. Right click, save image as, BBR grid. Now some will save as PNG, some will save as JPEG. Only really matters on the logo. Everything else really doesn't matter. But on here it'll give you all the right stuff. Hero, save image as, that's BBR hero. Sorry, I do also apologise because this won't be the most clearest of tutorials compared to others. It's my ADHD and I'm trying to fill space. It's what I do. So save as. This is the logo. Oops. So BBR logo. It doesn't really matter what you call these. It's just obviously it's easier if you can know what you're looking for when we come to the next stage. So we download this. This is the icon. Save image as. Right, that will show there as icon, but it doesn't matter. That's still all fine. So BBR, just icon still. So it'd be icon.ico. That say doesn't matter because the next bit can accept that. Now has this downloaded? That's downloaded. That's brilliant. Back to WinCP. That we'll watch. Just delete this. All this in the. In this, rather than having to go into the Steam Deck itself, which is absolutely brilliant. So what have we got here? Bang bang racing, drag it across. Wait for that to go in. And then what we want to also bring in, so we'll go back up here. Oh, I've still got some for when I've done Sensible Soccer, so we'll delete those as well. Don't need those. Just recently done the 2020 update of Sensible Soccer, which was fun. Really fun game. Try it out. So that's there. And then what we're going to do, we're going to go back to the desktop. And look, we've got Bang Bang Racing, all the icons, the posters, the logos. I'm just going to drop that on the root directory on there. That's everything done on the Windows side. So we now pop back in to AnyDesk, which is, there we go, it's loaded up. And what we want to do now is we want to add the game to Steam because we've got to make sure it works. So what we do is you go into your library, add a game, add a non-Steam game, then browse, and you want to make your way to your media again. Now, depending where you've been on here before, it might go to a different place, but I'll show you from the beginning. You go back to the start, you go run, media, name of your card, DRM Free, name of, like the folder of the game you want to add. Now, you'll then go, where is everything? Absolutely fine. File type, all files, and then you just want to find the exe. Click open, and then click add selected programs. Now, this will be down here in the uncategorized. So we are just going to add it to DRM free, just do a bit of housekeeping. And then what you'll see is there, look, no box art, anything like that. Looks pretty ugly. But this is what we can do. Go in for it, and we go properties. And what we want to do first and foremost, more than anything, is make sure it's compatible. Proton Experimental is usually your best bet when adding a Windows game. I've found that works. Had issues with some of the other ones. Experimental just works most of the time. So, done that, close that, and we want to make sure it works. So, click play. And hopefully, there we go. Game starts, boots up full screen. I'm just going to then switch to my actual Steam Deck. You can't see this, obviously, because you're looking at that. But yeah, absolutely runs. That's brilliant. I don't know if you get that. Yeah, runs. How well do my game runs? We don't know. So this is what we do next. We go back in. Now, if you're confident, you don't need to do the test or anything. You can just go and do this. But there's another reason why I played the game once as well. And I'll show you why that is in a minute. So, rename. So it's a bit nicer there. Again, you don't have to do this, but I like to do this. Just, again, bit of housekeeping. Click the icon next to it, and we are going to go to the root where I put the images. And we want the icon, which is not going to show there, but if you click all files, there we go, we've got the icon, pop that in, and now we get an icon. And if we look and boot that, bang, 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 gets the icon there. Now, doesn't always save. Don't know why that is, but doesn't always save, but I like putting it there for when it does. Now, we want to add, to make this all look nice, a custom background, which is the BBR Hero. In this case, because I named it BBR Hero. This is why you should name them with the affixes afterwards, so you know what you're looking for. And then what we can also do is set a custom logo. There, open that, that's fine as it is. But if you really wanted to, you can adjust the logo position. You can make it bigger if you really wanted to. And you can actually look, you can move it there. Bigger. Or you can just do what I like to do, which is have it bottom left and then just a bit smaller. There we go. That's there. We go back into the DRM main view and we set some custom artwork. Manage, set custom artwork, and then we choose the poster version, which is a JPEG image, BBR poster. Open. Got a nice poster for it now. And then the other thing, and this is why we played the game once, is you go back to the library home. As you see, as this stands at the moment, not working. It needs an image added to it. Right click, manage, set custom artwork, and then BBR grid. So poster will be the tall one, grid will be this last played version. That's all in there, and as you can see, we go to library, DRM Free. It's all in there, and it plays just like a normal Steam game. Simple as that. Not the quickest. It's not just like drag and drop one file and you're done. Obviously, there's a few little bits you need to do there, but it works. And all these games that I've got here, I've added, tested them all work really well. All legally got from Amazon, and because they're DRM free, you own them, play them wherever. Something like Gunpoint, just a little side note, is mouse only. You still get all your options when you boot this from game mode. Gunpoint, you can still set custom controls, all the other bits you could do. You can test things over the top, runs really well, etc, etc. So you've got all the options with these that you would pretty much have with a native Steam game when you start from game mode. But it's simple as that. Now, what I like to do is just one little last bit of housekeeping, is go back here. I do not need these image files anymore, and that's because what Steam actually does is take these image files and put them somewhere on the local drive, and stores them there with ID numbers and stuff like that. Might be a good idea to back up. I've not done that yet, but you don't need these anymore. So I'll show you now exactly. We'll delete those 5. And if we go back into AnyDesk and we actually quit out of Steam, we just wait for that to finish. There we go. We are now out. We load up Steam. Summer sale, by the way, dangerous time. And look, it's there in the library, DRM free, and yep, it's there. Click in, logo's there, that's there. Icon's disappeared. I don't know why it does it like that. The icon just does not stay. So, do you know what? Don't bother with the icon. Everything else just seems to work. It's there. It's just might as well now be in Steam, except all you've done is you've popped it. Show you from here. Primary, DRM free, just all those games stored here. And if you want to get rid of them, obviously you could just select the one you want to get rid of, delete, remove the shortcut on Steam. Simple as that. Final little bit of housekeeping with this, and just a point to note. Obviously, I've got this on a 1 terabyte hard drive. A 1 terabyte micro SD card. You might have different SD cards. If you take this out, you will still see your DRM free library. But obviously, when you click on the game to play it, nothing will happen. But you pop it back in, it will be there, it will be shown. So just make a note of what cards you're using, that sort of thing. You'll be good to go. Might even be worth your while, depending on what you want to do. Have a Steam Deck card that's just all native Steam games. Have an emulation card. I've actually got an emulation card myself. So if you look at my Dreamcast collection, is all there with all the artwork and everything, which I took ages to go through and add because I wasn't overly happy with what Steam ROM Manager brought in. But yeah, all different games that are in there, all works really well. And just want to point out one that you should all play. By the way, I'm going to take this moment, but PSP, scroll down to one of my favourite games, IQ Mania. Should give that one a go. Obviously, not all of them. I've got to go through and do some, but yeah, absolutely brilliant game, IQ Mania. But yeah, give that a go, and you're free to play all the many hundreds of games you might already own. I say it's this thing just gets better and better. Look at them all. Look at them all that I could put on there if I want. So, you know, maybe you've got Amazon version of games. You haven't got native Steam games of them. So, you know, I've got the Monkey Island games. I don't have those on Steam. I can just do those. I haven't got to buy them on Steam. I've already got them. You know, Galazzo. You might want a decent a football game. I don't know if it's decent. I've never played it. Just loads of stuff. The reason I've not played these is, ironically, I just couldn't be bothered because I've got a separate launcher. I just couldn't be bothered. But yeah, all of these, just easily give them a go. Even the smaller ones especially. But one is, and I think I've got, let's have a quick look. By name, as one of my giveaways on here, I had, Devil May Cry HD collection. Which I do own on Steam as well, but yeah, that was given away, which is a nice one to put on, and it works on the Steam Deck as well. So, you know, you've got those options there. So don't need to double dip. A favourite term on the Switch was double dipping. Don't need to double dip. I'm rambling. I'm going to shut up now. Thank you for watching. Any questions, leave comments below. Like and subscribe. I don't know. People say that. I don't care. Bye.